Hello guys. So in today's video, we are going to build up or we are going to automate the ordering form for a bakery from start to finish. All right. So here's a simple order form for the bakery. And if someone fills in the form or places an order for a cookie, cake, or a brownie, then automatically what our automation does, it sends the person who places the order a thank you email, thanking them for placing the said order, and also sends you, the owner, an email telling you of what they ordered and giving you the email of the person who ordered. All this done on automation. And at the end of this video, I'm going to give out this template for free, so you don't want to miss out. So basically, I consider this an introductory lesson into automations, but basically there's a lot of automations I've built for clients and for myself to make my life easier. So if you want to learn how to do these cool stuffs, then please stay tuned. All right, so the platform I'm using is called Make, and Make is my go-to platform for building automations and AI agents. To get access to Make, you can go to learnwithinteam.com/make, learnwithinteam.com/make, and you can try it out. I'm also going to give you the template I showed you in the introductory for free, and to get access to this template, all you have to do is go to learnwithinteam.com/cookie, learnwithinteam.com/cookie without the S, all right? Cookie. And you can get access to the automation template I showed you in the introductory for free. So you can try it out, all right? So that out of the way, let's start working on the automation to see how we can actually do this. And basically what I want you to get out of this is to understand how these stuffs work. And so if you have any workload that you also want to automate, you can actually do it by yourself, all right? So in order for us to build this, we need to start with a trigger. All right. So the trigger is basically the start of all your automations. All right. And so for the trigger, what we need to do is to find Google Forms. All right. So Google Forms. All right, so once we have our trigger, which is Google Forms, what we are looking to do is actually to watch for responses. All right, and so we are going to select the watch responses as the first trigger model. All right, so once we have this trigger set up, please make sure you connect this to your account. All right, to your Google Forms account or whatever Gmail that you have. And once you have the connection, you need to go into the form that you have created and get the form ID. Now the form ID is basically the ID above here. All right, so after you have the form ID, you come into your trigger and then you go to search, and then over here you place the form ID and leave it to do its work. It's going to locate the form in that your account and then populate it over here. So this is the URL of the form. All right, and now we want to make sure that this limit is set to 1. All right, because we are receiving responses one at a time from clients. All right, and so we set the limit to 1, and now we click save, or we hit save. Okay, so after we click save, we set it from now on. This means that whatever transaction is coming in from now on is considered the start of the automation. Then we click save again, and that is done. So we have the trigger set up. So now that we have the trigger configured, what we need to do is to send a test transaction to make sure that it's receiving data. All right, so we can proceed. And so to do this, what we need to do is to go into the form and fill out a test order. All right, so I'm going to put in an email here, and then I'm going down. I select cookie. I just put water in here. Then I click submit. Now, once this is submitted, we need to make sure that the trigger is actually receiving the response by clicking on run once to see if it works. And as you can see, it is populated with 1 data. This means that the trigger is working as expected. Now, if I go down into answers and then I expand on what kind of goods was ordered, I can actually see the value of cookie here, which means it's working as it's supposed to. Fantastic. All right, so now that we have the trigger tested and we know that everything is working as supposed to, basically, if you take a look at the form, you'll notice that we have three items, right? So item one being cookie, item two being cake, and item three being a brownie, all right? And so what we need to do is to actually create a channel for each order to pass through. And in order to create the channel, we need to add another model. And this time we search for router. So router. So once we search for router, what we have to do is click on router, which will be the channel for which each item passes through. Okay. And in order to get three routes or three channels for the three items we have in the form, we need to click on the router once again. All right. So now we have three routes for three items, be it cookie, brownie, or cake. All right. So fantastic. We have the router set up. And now we need to set up filters for the router. So we can put a filter here for cookie, a filter here for cake, and a filter here for brownie. So anytime an order comes through and it's cookie, it goes through this route. If it is cake, it goes through here. And if it is brownie, it goes through the last route. So now let us set up our filters, all right? And so we are going to label this filter cookie, this filter cake, and that filter brownie, all right? And so to set up the filter, you just need to click on the gear icon here, set up filter. Now the label needs to equate, for the sake of clarity, that's how I do my work, needs to equate the value of cookie over here, all right? So I know that that is the route for cookie, all right? And so I'm going to label it cookie and then set a condition for it. Now this condition will be from the previous model, which is our trigger model, all right, and the answers, okay, or what kind of baked goods do you want to order. For their order, I need the text answer to be equal to that value. And so the value here needs to be equal to cookie. All right, so I put in cookie here. So nothing goes through here except if it is cookies, or the text value is cookies. Now I click save, and just like that, we have our cookie filter set up. Okay. So now that we have our filter set up, what we want to do is to send the customer an email thanking them for their order and keeping them informed that we are working on their order. So in order for us to do this, what we need to do is to click this model, select the Gmail model because we will be sending through Gmail. So select the Gmail model, scroll down, and then we want to send an email, so we select send an email. Now what you want to do is create a connection between this and your Gmail. All right, so I'm going to select my account because I've already created a connection, and then I want to refresh this here so that it loads. All right, just like that, the connection is created, and now we need to set up this Gmail. All right, so who is the recipient? So we click on add a recipient. Then over here, we need to input the answer for the email in our bakery form, all right? And so what I'll do is add a recipient, then I expand on email, text answers, answer, then I select the value, all right? So now, anytime they input their email, they will be the recipient of this very first email automation, all right? And so now that this is done, we want to input a subject, all right? So the subject could be thank you for your cookie order, brownie order, cake order, or whatever, all right? So I'll input thank you for your, now cookie, brownie, or cake needs to be it needs to alternate based on the answer that the customer, or the order that the customer placed, all right? And so over here, I'm going to come here, and what kind of baked goods do you want to order? I click on this text answers, answer, and now I want that value, all right? So it's going to autofill based on the answer or the order that the customer has put in, all right? Now what I have to do is to add order at the back here. So now it's going to read thank you for your cookie order, all right? So that is the subject. We are done with the subject. Now let's put the content. The content can be, we have received your cake order, cookie order, brownie order, whatever, and we are working on it. All right. So we write the content over here. We have received your, now we input the text answer for this value here again. So it's going to be, we have received your cookie, brownie or cake order, and we are working on it. All right. Okay. So now that this is done, what we want to do is to click save. And just like that, we have the customer email automated. So anytime they place an order, they are going to get an email from us instantly telling them we have received their cake, cookie, or brownie order, and we are working on it. And then it's also thanking them for their order. So now that we are done with the customer, the next step is to send ourselves an email informing us of the order and giving us the information or the credentials of the buyer. All right. And so to do that, we want to click on this to add another model. We select Gmail. All right. We scroll down to send an email. All right. And over here, you have already created a connection in the previous model, so it's going to auto authenticate. All right. Then the recipient, I'm going to input the same email address. All right. So the recipient, I want to input, all right, so this will be the recipient. All right. And now the subject, we want to write a new cookie order, new brownie order, whatever, new cake order. All right. And so we are going to write new, and then we want the value for what is in the form. All right. So text answer, then we select value. All right. Then we just add order at the end. So it will read new cookie order, new cake order, new brownie order, and so forth, right? And so now what we need to do is to write the content for the email. All right. So what do we want? We want the email of the buyer, and then also we want to know what they ordered. All right. So it could be something like email of buyer, right? So email of buyer, then I want to click enter. Then I input, or I get the email from the form. All right. So email text answer, then I pick the value. All right. So the email of the buyer. All right. And now we need to know what was ordered. All right. So what was ordered? All right. So what was ordered? And now we want the the value of what is in the order form. All right. So we come here, we go to text answer, then we select the value. All right. So what was ordered, and just like that, we are also done with our email, and we click save. And so just like this, we have our first automation done, and we will repeat the same for the second and the third one. All right. So like I told you, I want you guys to have an understanding of how to do this, and I'll be attaching the complete automation that I showed you in the introductory. So if you want access to that one, don't forget, you can get the complete fully done for you one at learnwithinteam.com/cookie. All right. You can get it for free. All right. And so now we want to test this automation to make sure it's working as intended. So just so you see how this would play out in real time, we are going to fill in a test order. All right. What I'm going to do now is split the screen into two. So I have one on this side and another and the Gmail opened on the other side, so you can see as it comes in. All right. Now don't forget to save your automation, because make doesn't save it automatically. All right. So now that it's saved, take a look at over here. Now I always click run to get it to run, but you don't always have to do that, right? So I could toggle this on, and this will mean that for after every 15 minutes this automation should run. All right, but in such a case, it wouldn't make sense to make it 15 minutes. So it could be after every minute we want this automation to run. All right, so then we click save, and so after every minute it looks or checks for responses, and if there's a new order, the automation kicks and then it's done. You understand? So now you can click save. But for now, I'll click save. I'll turn it off because I want to run it manually. So we see. And so what I'll do here is I'll split the screen and then we see this automation run. All right, so now I have the screen splitted. And so let's go and then fill out a test order. All right, so I'm going to input the same email. All right, so the same email as the buyer. All right, because I have that email open here. So you will see for the buyer, and you also see for you as the admin, the email you get play out in real time. Now we are going to place an order for a cookie. Then I'm just going to write maybe like water or something like that here. And now we are going to click submit. All right, so once it's submitted, if I come into my automation here and I click on run, pay attention to the email section. All right, as you can see, I got an email saying thank you for your cookie order. So this is what the customer will receive in real time. All right, thank you for your cookie order. It says we have received your cookie order and we are working on it. All right, and you as the admin, you also get an email saying new order. So the client receives a thank you message, and you, the admin, gets an email telling you of the new order. So it says new cookie order. So if it was brownie, it would be new brownie order. And then it says email of buyer. So this is the email of the buyer and what was ordered, just like we played it out. All right. And so basically, I consider this as an introductory lesson into automations and how we can actually simplify our tax, our day-to-day tax using automations. All right, and so we'll be creating more and more videos to kind of educate you guys on how to make complicated workflows. I believe if you can think about it, then you can automate it. All right, and so once again, if you're looking for the complete template, learnwithinteam.com/cookie, and you have access to it. If this video helped you out, please do well to like, comment, subscribe. See you in the next one.